Healthy Rebel Radio is sponsored by the Healthy Rebel app. 300 plus secretly healthy, delicious, mouth-watering dessert and treat recipes made with all-natural, whole food ingredients. Now available for download on the App Store and Google Play. Find out more details at healthyrebel.com.
Welcome to Healthy Rebel Radio. I'm your host, Dr. David Dizer. I'm here with my Dami Health Healthy Rebel co-founder, Amy Lane. Good morning.
Good morning.
Today we're going to be addressing one of the number one questions we get time and time again. It's a good one.
It's one that hits home for me.
You like this topic, do you?
Well, it's not necessary that I like it, but
There's a lot to chat about.
Used to really wonder about it. I used to clip a lot of, it wasn't pre-internet because I'm not that old, but I was an oldie at heart, so I didn't know there was internet, so I used to clip a lot of articles out of magazines on this topic.
Yes.
Bought a lot of books. Still have the bookshelf to prove it.
Well, you've got all those, the clippings saved. Well, you had them. I think we got rid of them, though.
Yeah, I got rid of the clippings. Finally let the clippings go, but...
Scrapbooking, tiny wastes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the topic?
Well, today we're talking about... it's basically waist whittler episode, but how to shrink your waist.
How to shrink your waistline, how to get abs, how to have a smaller waist, however you want to put it. Mm-hmm. I get this question.
People are always trying to do spot treatment.
Yeah, and I mean, especially with today's look, when you've got, it sounds like I harp on the Kardashians, but I just wish they'd come out and tell the truth as to why their bodies are the shape they are. But when you have women, building out breasts and butt with surgeries and then, using liposuction to suck their waist in, puts a lot of pressure on the everyday person to get that hourglass shape. But the good news is there are natural ways to create a more hourglass shape. Mm-hmm. No matter what's going on, there are solutions, but for some reason there's like a real miscommunication, misunderstanding. I guess all these books that I used to buy into and all this junk, just a lot of BS out there on how to have a smaller waist.
Well, and this all comes, I think, from childhood. As you're growing up, you don't realize that there was, corsets were huge a couple hundred years ago.
Yeah. And
this was ingrained into society that small waists were where it's at. That's the definition of a healthy body.
Well, and it's just so funny because I know I've said this to you before, but, women activists will get all self-righteous and say, share a picture of Marilyn Monroe and say, well, she was between a size 12 and fluctuated to a 16 or 18, and she was considered beautiful and blah, 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 and no one's going to argue that, but at the same time, there aren't many size 12s to 18s that have that body shape.
Yeah, she had a specific body shape that showed in photos that...
It didn't matter how big she got, she had that hourglass shape, so it's kind of misleading in a way, because now, as we... especially as women, gain weight, we gain that unhealthy belly fat. And it's unhealthy. It causes actual health problems, and it's caused by a specific way of living and eating and not doing the things to actually transform your body. So I want to preface this by saying, from the time I was probably, I'd say maybe 16 to, 23, I tried every fad, just every harmful, ridiculous, harmful, emotionally, physically, mentally thing that I could in attempts to try to get, quote, skinny and really to try to have a flat stomach and no matter how small I got, in those periods I would drop 20 pounds and whatever, I never had a flat stomach, and I'm someone that I had that apple shape. That's where I gained weight, right around my stomach, as I sit here 7 months pregnant, really reminiscing over how I used to feel.
Rubbing my belly.
Yeah, but that's where I gained my weight. I always had, leaner limbs, but that's where I gained my weight. And I mean, to the point of, in high school, one time a girl was mad at me. She called me a pot-bellied pig. One time a guy was trying to level me, but to date me, that was a trend. Remember when guys would try to say something rude to you to try to bring your self-esteem? You don't.
I don't remember that now.
No, because you're a nice person. But actually, he was my friend. It ended our friendship, and he wanted to date me, and I just kept like, yeah, I don't want to date you, whatever. And he's like, well, I know that, like, you have a pot belly, and I think it's cute.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding?
No, it ended our friendship.
So awful.
Yeah, it was awful, but, like, it's all awful, but it's because I was so self-conscious about it. I was carrying it. So I constantly was, like, trying to dress in things and, like, cover it, and, like, because it didn't matter how lean I got. I couldn't get rid of this quote-unquote pot belly, right?
Oh my gosh, I did not know these things.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're wounds. You don't walk around, like, bragging about them. I can tell you who it is after. Anyway, so this was a major thing for me.
Yeah.
So then to come to a place where I, you know, had my realization in life of that I have to be my own hero, the whole thing, you know, and then when it came to my body, I was like, there has to be an actual solution. You know, my healthy, highest version of myself doesn't want me to have a pot belly. There's no reason for me to. And I really got to a place where I could release myself from this body shape. And I started envisioning having a lean waist, broader shoulders, you know, a more round booty, like really started envisioning like a beautiful shaped body that was my dream. Not the girls in the magazine, just like my highest self. So like getting examples, but then releasing what the highest good could be. And then I went to work and I completely changed my body consistency. And we'll add some photos to just try to show, because I mean, it's amazing.
Oh, I mean, your transformation was huge. I mean, that's just so hurtful. I can't get over the fact that has been said to you, because I just think it's foolishness.
Oh, don't carry that. I'm over it.
Yeah.
It all pushed for a certain reason. It showed me who I would never want to be. It showed me that I was in the wrong friendships, I was in the wrong circles, and I had deep wounds that I still hadn't dealt with. So, I mean, don't feel bad for that. That all made who I am today. We're
going to link your transformation.
Yeah, and I mean, just like up until literally like the few days before I got pregnant, I had, right before Christmas, I had done the last 4 weeks of the bikini body, because of I kept saying to myself, I want to have abs for Christmas. I'm going to give myself abs for Christmas. And for my body type, I can have a tiny waist all year long, but for me to get those side lines, those top abs, that type of thing, it takes me really focusing and knocking off all treats and just focusing for a few weeks to unveil them. And my waist was tiny right before I got pregnant. Like, I'm talking like 23 inches ripped, tiny.
Was, yeah.
So, you know, and just on a normal day, it's great. But I mean, it's not that tiny. But I even have pictures of myself 4 months pregnant with still my top two abs still like, and I mean, that's if you could see what you will see. When you see what my body shape was, that's just amazing. Like, you know, being 4 or 5 months pregnant and having abs, it's like, yeah, I would never believe that would be my story.
Okay.
Right?
Wow.
It's not who I was. It's not my quote-unquote natural body shape. It wasn't my, quote, genetics. No one in my family had abs. I could never do it. Yeah, I can.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's go through some of the steps that you took to achieve that. I mean,
sure. So, number one, and I don't want to sound like a psycho, and I know you're all going to be like, oh my god, this woman, she drives me crazy, but it's just because it's the truth. It's like if people were holding their breath and not breathing, and I didn't tell you that it felt way better to breathe, y'all would be upset.
Right.
Nutrition's number one. And consistent nutrition. So the way I used to be is I was on low fat everything, calorie counting, diet food, and then craving sugar. And then having high sugar cocktails. That type of stuff. And that goes straight to your belly. That's like an insulin injection straight to your belly. Store that fat, like, especially if you're naturally inclined to gain there. So I just dropped my BS story and changed my whole, what I had to do to have a lean, healthy body. And it's consistently high vegetables, fruit, whole grains, nuts and seeds, beans, lentils, and that's it. My treats now are only really whole food treats. I would never go and get junk now at this point. And if I'm trying to like feel lean or look a little leaner, or, you know, like abs for Christmas, I for 4 weeks don't have any junk. Nothing. Even healthy, you know, treats. Alcohol is huge. Reducing your alcohol consumption to, you know, if you really enjoy having cocktails as a treat, which I have in the past, once a week at most, and picking no sugar added type deals. Because there is sugar in alcohol, and alcohol does basically act like sugar in your system, the way it upregulates, blah, blah, blah. So I would do vodka and sparkling water with a squeeze of lime and stevia. Or, just a plain wine. Like, no more coolers, no more junk, no more high sugar crap. And really, I get more results if I don't touch wine. But that's a whole nother thing. So, every meal, loading vegetables in. Keeping meals super lean, like natural. Like, if it has, I get really excited about vibrant natural foods because it does such amazing things for the body. So, consistently, like, I'm not talking you eat super healthy and then on Friday you go to McDonald's. You do that, you're not going to get anywhere. You're just not going to, unless you're genetically, got the edge.
Yeah, and also if you're doing little things like putting 2 packs of sugar in your coffee or having, like French vanilla in every drink you do and any extra place where there's extra sugar.
If you're having chocolate at the end of the night, if you're having dried fruit at the end of the night. A lot of people have chocolate at the end of every single day. Even if it's dried, healthy fruit. No.
It's hard to have a lean waist when your body's taking sugar and converting that into fat.
So the number one thing with that, like eating super healthy, but then with supper, definitely, I do not have a healthy carb. I literally have my source of protein and just a ton of vegetables. So that right there is a recipe for a leaner waist. And you have to do this until you get the results. You can't just expect to not have a waist your whole life or never get where you want to go and then just try really hard for a week and then come Saturday and be like, this isn't working, and then just go crazy. I mean, you have to be consistent. You have to commit to the process. And the full process for me to really alter the first time was the first 12 weeks of the Bikini Body when I tested this concept on myself. I dramatically changed things, but my abs were still not, and my waist as hard and firm as, 3 months after that and 3 months after that. And we're talking, I'm 8 years in now. And my body's just now completely different. I rest at a completely different place. My muscle, my lean muscle, the way I rest as a person, it only gets better. But it's like you have to surrender to my life is different now. If you want this.
Right.
If you want to change your body. If you, I really wanted to be a lean, long person. And like I'm a stubby little 5'1", tiny boned human. And when people see me in photos, they're like, and then see me in person, they say, oh, I thought you were taller.
Oh, it happens all the time.
All the time. Because that's what I wanted. I wanted that long, lean shape. So that's one thing. The other thing that goes straight with that is water. So with your nutrition, the other thing, if you're like trying to unveil your abs, really watch your sodium intake. So that's all the salt, dressings, all that type of stuff. Cut it out. And then also drink your water. For me, I drink 3 liters of water every single day. Never fails. Doesn't matter what's going on. Doesn't matter if I'm driving across the country. It doesn't matter if it doesn't matter. Having the busiest day of my life. It's happening. It's going down. It is.
It's going down.
Right? And then the next thing is workouts. And in that, the first number one thing is, the 3 components I'm going to say with the workouts is how you work out, how often you work out, and the amount of muscle mass you start to carry. Changes everything. I never wanted to gain muscle because I thought that muscle was bad.
Right, you were against it.
Because it would make me bulk up. I didn't want to bulk up. I was already bulked up enough, right? I thought it was bad. I wanted to just be lean, like diet skinny. Those were the words in my head that, those magazines from like the 90s, 2000s were ringing in my head. But the reality is when I started working those big muscle groups like we talked about the other day, we should link that podcast too, and started really surrendering to building out certain muscles and carrying more muscle. It made me way leaner than I've ever been in my life and be able to rest there. I used to be the type of person that I would have a treat meal and I'd be up 5 pounds and look like an Oompa Loompa. I would hold on to every single thing. That's just not my reality anymore. My body is completely different. And I'm telling you, like at 33, my body is leaner, younger, feels better, reacts better than it ever did at 21. Ever.
Well, it's healthy to have that muscle mass because you can then use the calories, those extra calories on those days, to support that muscle mass.
And with that muscle mass, you start to carry yourself differently. You start to engage differently. So, your cardio is really important if you're trying to lean out your waist.
Definitely.
For me, it's two-sided. I do walking because for me, cortisol is a huge issue. As a natural state human being, I run anxious. So I am constantly countering that with getting into Zen mode. So for me, walking is like yoga. Also doing some healthy benefits. I feel like the same kind of benefit, mentally and physically. Every single day I walk. And when I'm walking, I hold my abs in. I envision pulling my belly button to my spine. I envision pulling my waist in from the sides. I stand up straight. I envision like a string from the top of your head pulling to the sky. And I continually center myself on that. And breathe. Constantly. When I'm sitting here at the desk during the day, I constantly draw my attention to pulling my abs in, making my waist tight and tiny. I visualize it.
Well, posture is so important because you want to work those tiny muscles.
Yes.
You want to make sure that your back muscles are strong.
Yes.
Your core, the core muscles of the posterior region are strong.
Like those
obliques?
Yeah, like I didn't even know obliques were a thing, and now my obliques are like my favorite thing. Like, they hold me strong. They make me feel tight and tiny. I can engage them so easily. So, engaging and envisioning and really, while I'm lifting weights, my main focus is always mind to muscle now. Because you can get a way better bang for your buck. I used to just run through everything, kind of flip the weights around. Oh, is this working? I don't know.
Right, yeah.
Now, my main thing is the muscle I'm working, the mind connection, but also pulling in my abs. Tightening my core.
Everything you do.
Everything I do. Now, the other type of cardio, if you're serious about getting abs, is sprints. It's literally the best ab workout and body fat thing, burning thing you can do for yourself. If you want to see your body change, if you want to see the fat fly off and your stomach shrink in. And again, with that though, you have to hold your core. You have to hold strong.
Well, what happens with sprints is you're driving your knees forward, so you're working the hip flexors, which are core muscles. So you're by driving those knees forward, you're working the hip flexors, but you're also, on every impact, you work the glutes. Every impact, the glutes are engaged.
Well, and you have to hold your core tight when you're sprinting. You just have to. You have to engage your body. It's not a loosey-goosey thing. You have to, it takes so much more effort, I find. And obviously the exertion of going, fast. So, and it doesn't have to be fancy. You can go outside, you can walk a pool, sprint a pool. Walk a pool, or walk 2 pools, sprint a pool.
Well, even the stopping and starting is helpful.
Yes.
For core.
Yeah. So, I would do that if I'm very serious 2 to 3 times a week, and then walk literally the rest. That's my rotation. Also, the functional workouts that you find in the Bikini Body program, it's just...
that's also what I wanted to mention.
Getting up, getting down. It's unbelievable the indirect workouts you're getting, and especially it's what you bring to it. All workouts, you can just roll through them and not really, if anyone ever emails me and is like, these workouts aren't hard enough, I'm like, BS. I've had elite athletes email me, this is awesome. So it's what you're bringing to it.
Right.
We can roll through anything and make anything. It's what you engage. It's what you bring your mind to muscle. It's the effort, the exertion. It's what you bring to it.
Well, one of the things we get the most success from really is these whole body exercises, these functional workouts. Because, you're working other muscle groups, but at the same time, not only are you holding the abs in, but they're also being engaged heavily by the actual workout, by the exercise.
Exactly. One misconception I will say is that getting abs equals laying on the floor and doing ab workouts.
It's true. It's a huge misconception. And if you're familiar with crunches and sit-ups, there's a ton of upper ab engagement.
Yeah.
And that can be helpful. It's part of the process. But these functional workouts, engaging the hip flexors, engaging the lower abdominals, but then also working the major groups of the midsection, quads, hamstrings, glutes, is extremely important as well.
Now, one thing I will say is that is something that people email me. What ab workouts can I do to get a smaller waist? Well,
right, yeah.
First, the ab workout thing, the direct, adding more ab, direct ab, sets, isn't the key right away. Especially if you have body fat to lose. If you have body fat to lose, you're not going to have that Marilyn Monroe shape. It's just, unless you are genetically gifted, you're just not going to get it. So you have to create it. And you have to create it first by losing the body fat on top of those abs. And what I would recommend is just doing all this indirect stuff, all the stuff in the Bikini Body program with the, some attention to abs and direct ab workout. Do that first. Because unless you're lean enough to show the abs, it doesn't matter what's going on under there. I mean, yeah, you want to build that strong core, but if you just start doing ab workouts, you're going to build those muscles and the fat's still going to be there, so your waist is actually going to be more boxy.
No, you can't skip the cardio, and 80%...
And the meal.
Is still
in the
nutrition.
Food. Nutrition. You can't skip it. There's no way around it. There's no spot, unless you go get liposuction.
Yeah.
Like that, that's just the truth. So, one other thing I will say is if you had a body shape like me where your waist was more like the apple, like it was more the... out than in, I guess. Like you didn't have the hourglass shape, like the opposite of that. Whatever.
Okay, right, yeah.
One of the other tricks I used, tricks, I guess, I don't know, however you want to put it. One of the things I use to this day and used is I really focused on building my shoulders and my butt out, and that also helps make your waist look tinier. So don't be afraid, again, of working those bigger muscles and building them out. And all of that is in the Bikini Body program. Mm-hmm. We focus on getting those shoulders rounded out, that booty rounded out, and then your core looks smaller. So as you actually do shrink and your core actually comes in and you actually burn that body fat off, it's even more...
It's more dramatic.
Yeah, way more dramatic. Mm-hmm. Because you have that... You're creating an hourglass shape. Foundationally, how it actually happens.
Definitely. I think it's really important and shouldn't be skipped.
Definitely.
I'd like to get your opinion on waist trainers.
Well, okay.
Waist trainers are huge right now.
Sure. Now, I don't think you need to go get a specific waist trainer. I mean, waist trainers aren't a new concept. If you go to Walmart, you can get like a $5 wrap or like a medical supplies store. These aren't new concepts. So, I like them and I don't like them. So, if you haven't done the nutrition, you haven't done, the water, you haven't committed to something for at least 3 to 4, 5, 6 months, you haven't cut the treats, you still drink the high sugar, waist trainers you might as well flush your money down the toilet. Yeah. It's not magic. It's not going to just spot train your waist. Now, if you are doing everything I'm saying, and you're really committed, consistency, and over a long period of time, and you're doing it all, not skipping one, adding in, I wouldn't say a waist trainer, but like a waist wrap can help in 2 different ways. And I don't mind it. So, while you're doing cardio, if you put on a tank top, then you put on one of these things that wraps around your waist, it can bring your attention to holding your abs in. Mm-hmm. If you're using it in that way. If you're using it to just suck in the fat and then you're flopping in there and not engaging, then again, no problem. No, don't do it. It's stupid. It doesn't. If you're using it to tighten your waist and then get on a piece of cardio equipment and really engage, then yes, like in the same way that like putting a cast on, when they take off the cast and there's like some wasting that goes on, like it's like a sweatsuit for your waist. So, but in the same way, if it's on too long, you waste muscle, and we want that muscle. We want that lean core. So, for like a 45-minute set, if you want to like, if you're getting ready for an event, or if you're going to the beach, or blah, 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 if you want to like sweat off a little extra, I mean, it's not going to do major things for you, but it can sweat off a little extra. And it also wrapping your core, because your core is how we lose a lot of heat, whatever. It will get hotter, so you may burn more fat while you're on that. So for those reasons, it's fine.
What I worry about is organ crowding.
Yeah, I've heard terrible
and bowel
things.
Function.
I've heard bad things.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying a 45-minute set on your piece of cardio equipment.
Yeah.
If you're doing everything else and you understand that this isn't going to be a magical bean,
there's people out there going to the extremes, and we're seeing negative consequences.
Well, yeah, and I don't think you should go spend $120 on these corsets that these C-grade celebrities are hawking. Right. That's, boom, I said it.
Yeah.
But if you want to go to Walmart and get some little wrap thing and or wherever. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And you could even use like a muscle wrap.
Yeah, I think I've seen them at Winners.
Yeah, like whatever. And I mean, I think they're amazing. The recovery wraps for abdominal surgery, post baby to help you bring your uterus in, all that stuff. Obviously, I'll be using one, and I'm going to talk about that definitely. But do I think it's going to be the magical thing that like gives me the abs of my dreams? No, I create that by everything I said before. But again, if you want to try that little edge and try it just while you're doing cardio and get that little extra sweat and see what happens. Yeah. But again, be careful because you're going to sweat more. Your body can't release heat as fast. You may be nauseous. You may be dizzy. All that stuff. Another tactic it maybe is for overeaters. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Because it does block your waist. So you can't eat as much. Yeah. So, I mean, if you were going to go as far as to get, lap band surgery, if you're really... can't figure out your compulsive eating problems, maybe it would be a better alternative than turning to those things.
Yeah, maybe.
But again, the way they're being sold is BS. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, nothing's evil. It's how we use them. Right?
True. The final stage of this conversation I want to chat about is the medical side of things. Mm-hmm. I mean, abdominal obesity is dangerous. We know that. It's associated with many chronic health conditions. Yeah. But oftentimes... bloating is a major issue that people deal with. They say, "Oh, I can't get my waist lean because I'm so bloated all the time." Right. We've done episodes on bloating before. There's multiple potential causes. It's a complicated subject.
It's very individualized.
It's super individualized. The cause of bloating can range from enzyme deficiency to food sensitivity to dysbiosis.
And the thing about that is, it's very individualized. Mm-hmm. Yet. The solutions are pretty simple.
Yes.
Like, I myself, when David put me through the adrenal fatigue protocol, that definitely made my waist smaller once I healed from that. I've seen, girlfriends with enzyme deficiency. Very simply, you helped fix that solution. But I think that's one of those things where if that is an actual real concern for you and if it's something that, like, is causing a problem in your life, I think that's when you should consult on a higher...
There's testing that needs to be done.
Right.
Because certain types of bloating can be dangerous.
So David is going to be doing some online consulting if you do fall into this bracket. The information will be going out in our newsletter this Tuesday?
Yes.
Tuesday. So if you are interested, if this does ring a bell to you and you do want these natural, just a solution, get this done so you can move on in your life... I can say from personal experience that David's really great at hitting the nail on the head.
Oh, why thank you.
Well, you did it for me.
What I really like to do is focus on treating the cause. Mm-hmm. We do a holistic approach to treating the whole person at once, but I think getting to the root cause, especially in digestive dysfunction, is the way to go. Because oftentimes people just get a diagnosis. Oh, you're bloated and you've got, your bowel movements are up and down. Oh, you have IBS.
Yeah.
But what is the cause? Where is this coming from? What's going on there?
It's amazing how simple a lot of the solutions actually can be.
It's so true. The final thing in this category is constipation. Mm-hmm. If you're having trouble losing weight on your core, and you're not having bowel movements every day, there's potential that constipation could be an issue.
Right, but I just feel like the main solution to that is veggies, water, cardio.
This is the point.
Veggies,
this is
water,
holistic.
Cardio.
This is extremely helpful for revealing those abs, reducing your bloating. Having proper bowel function is so important.
Like I say all the time, you could be carrying just pounds and pounds of just debris around with you, concentrated in your core. If you don't have a regular, healthy bowel schedule.
It's true, and what we've found about that debris or having fecal matter hanging around for too many days is that your microbiota, your probiotics get thrown off. And the most recent study shows that a diverse microbiota is associated with being lean. Mm. So you're leaner when you've got better probiotics. If you're not having bowel movements, then the probiotics, they get messed up. Mm. And it's important to get that fixed first before you replenish, because if you replenish, you can run into other problems.
Right.
If you're not having bowel movements.
And like, again, I just have to say it, like, for the majority of people, there are people, and look, I have clients that have, issues and it takes longer to heal and it's more complicated, and I totally respect that, so I'm not speaking to you. But I'm saying 99.9% of us, the solution to having a regular bathroom schedule and then reaping those awesome benefits is just so simple. Veggies, water, cardio, that's it. Mm-hmm. You know, I have so many people in my life that have had bowel problems for, you know, going on decades. And I say, but what do you eat? Well, they won't eat healthy. Well, do you drink water? No, I have about, 8 ounces a day. Well, and do you move? Do you ever exercise? No. But I'm on laxatives every single day. And it's like, well, do the things. Stop complaining. Get out in front of yourself.
I would also add whole grains to that category.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Exactly. Get out in front of it.
Get out. Like, I'm just tired of listening to people complain about suffering without just taking the easy steps that everybody can do. When there's people out there that I have such compassion for, like, in my clientele that are doing all the things and, like, they're suffering. Like, it's way harder for them. So, like, to respect of them, to respect of yourself, like, just if you're not doing the simple things and, like, living your optimal self, respect to your husband, respect to your friends, respect to your coworkers. If you can't get to yourself, just fix it. Do the simple, real stuff. Do it.
That's true.
Drop dairy.
Were you finishing with that? Drop dairy. Well, thank you so much for your advice, your tips.
Thank you.
That's Healthy Rebel Radio for today. Thank you so much for listening and have a great day.
See you.
Healthy Rebel Radio is presented by the online health and wellness center, DamieHealth.com. Since 2009, Amy Lane has successfully coached thousands of women through her signature program, the Bikini Body Program. Join today to work exclusively with Amy to unveil your greatest yet to be from the inside out. Go to DamieHealth.com for more information.
Thank you for listening to Healthy Rebel Radio. Please connect with us on our community pages on Facebook, Pinterest, and Instagram, all at the handle @DamieHealth. For weekly recipes, articles, and all our episodes straight to your inbox, join our newsletter at DamieHealth.com. You can find all the links discussed in today's episode in the show notes. Thank you for joining us, and see you tomorrow.